The Beginnings of Human Society, Chapter 1, Section 1, Geography and History. A corpse was discovered in the snow on the border of Italy and Austria in the Alps in 1991. The Iceman, as they called him, was the first early human to be found preserved, which allowed scientists to learn more about how early humans lived. Scientists examined his skeleton, his clothing, and tools, which were clues about his life and when he lived. His copper axe indicated that he lived around 3000 BC when copper was first discovered. An arrowhead found in his chest led scientists to discover the cause of his death. About 5,000 years ago, people in Southwest Asia and Africa developed writing. Okay, so you're looking at this map, and this is the northern Africa. This area is called the Middle East. Over here is Turkey, over here is Pakistan, India, and then the countries of Southwest Asia. Writing began the beginning of history. So in other words, when man learned how to write, we are now beginning the age of history. Prehistory is the period of time before writing was invented. To understand prehistory, scientists must rely on clues, not written records. Archaeologists, as they are called, study objects to learn about past cultures. These objects are found after extensive digging and searching, and they are carefully uprooted and put together to tell a story of what must have happened. The types of objects found, along with bones, can give clues to how man lived. And as you can see, these evidence of tools that were found. Historians study written records to understand culture. Historians compare writings from different cultures living at the same time to compare or contrast the differences in their civilizations. And as you can see from these 4 examples, some writings were done on clay tablets, as they were called, and then other cultures used other materials for their writing styles. Oral traditions were stories passed down by word of mouth to tell family history and important events. People obviously did not know how to write, so they simply told stories about their families, about things that happened around them, and these stories would be told to children, and then when the children grew up, they told the same stories to their children, much as you hear stories about your family history. These stories told about society and what people consider to be important. Geography is a term that describes the land. Are there lakes, mountains, deserts, forests, valleys, rivers, all different kinds of ways that the land is sculpted on the Earth's surface. Now, it's important to consider geography, or how the land looks, and that will determine the history of the area. So, boys and girls, at the end of this section, the most important things to remember are here in red. How do scientists learn about the world thousands of years ago? Archaeologists study objects found in the ground to determine how and when humans lived before writing was developed. We call this era prehistory. Historians study the written records of humans. We call this era history. How did early humans communicate with each other to pass along their ways of life? They used oral traditions or storytelling to one another. Ways of life were carried over. And why is the environment important to the development of early humans? The mountains, the lakes, the plains, the rivers, all the geographical features that the land has, gave early humans shelter, water, and food that were necessary for their survival.